coming up. The Steelers returned from the bye week with a 23-9 victory over the Browns to get Pittsburgh to a 4-1 record. And Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin had some thoughts about his NFC North rivals, trading quarterback Joe Flacco within the division ahead of their matchup on Thursday night with Cincinnati. Here's what he said.
You know, to be honest, it was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us, because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.
I mean, Dan, when the trade happened, we kind of said something similar, right? You have a point?
He absolutely has a point. I don't know if I've ever heard a coach come out and say it in that way. You know, we've often had hypothetical trade conversations on this show, and we'll throw out Micah Parsons going to the Washington Commanders, and everyone's like, well, they would never do that because it's in the division. But I've never heard a coach be like, oh, that was not a smart interdivision or NFL or competitive football decision. So hats off to Mike Tomlin. I think he has a point totally, but the Browns did what the Browns wanted to do.
Yeah. Mina?
I mean, I think if you gave Mike Tomlin truth serum, he would admit that he has zero fear of facing Joe Flacco, which is why the Browns traded him. He was 32nd in QBR. He was playing incredibly poorly in Cleveland. Anytime you can trade a quarterback who is statistically the worst quarterback in the NFL and get draft capital, you do it. I don't care who your competition is. I do not think they made the Bengals better, but I understand people feel some kind of way about interdivision trades, and it's not a common practice. I do not believe that the Browns deserve much criticism, though, for doing it in this particular case, given the way the player was playing.
Let Joe Flacco keep the Bengals afloat. Burrow come back, and Mike Tomlin's going to be like,
all right, we'll check back in on that.
Told you.
Okay. New on NFL Live, Aaron Rodgers talks about facing another quarterback over 40 and Joe Flacco on Thursday.
Great for all the old guys, you know. I know that when I watch other sports, maybe it's because I'm the older guy, but I tend to pull for the older guys to win championships. I've been friends with Steph for a long time. Steph is one of the older guys in the NBA now. Anytime the Warriors are playing, I'm always pulling for Steph to ball out for them to win. But it's great.
Battle of the old guys. Rodgers and company starting to roll, though, by the way, as they head into this Thursday matchup with the Bengals. Mina, what are you seeing from this Pittsburgh offense that's helping them have success?
I think the offense is exactly what Arthur Smith dreamed it would be this offseason, this last week. You put heavy bodies on the field, you run the ball, you play action off of it, and they didn't run extremely well. They ran better the prior week, but they ran well enough to the point where Cleveland consistently sold out to stop it, so they had one-on-ones on the outside. That, to me, Dan, is a viable formula for this Steelers team. They're not going to throw it all over the yard. Rodgers hit on a couple of deep balls in this one, which was a difference for him. But if they can continue running the ball well out of those heavy formations, hitting some play-action shots, I do think that they can move the ball well enough, coupled with the defense playing better.
I really like this offense right now in Pittsburgh. It's an offense that I look forward to watching each week because of the newness and the wrinkles that get added to it. I could break their offense down into three categories. Number one, the 6 offensive line and 1 and/or 2 tight end grouping. We've seen this start a couple weeks ago in Pittsburgh. The thing is, they're adding to it. They're putting more plays into that grouping. When it first started, it was really just one play. 6 different ways they did it last week where 6 offensive linemen, tight end, get the quarterback on the move. There's play action. That was the first play of the game. Love that Arthur Smith comes out and does that. 6 offensive linemen with motion, weak zone. Okay, so that's the second play in this 6 offensive lineman group. 6 offensive linemen, same motion, a little bit of weak zone, but just pitch. Really nice cut by the back here. So that's 3 plays in this grouping. Now that same similar motion, shotgun, ball fake, perimeter screen. There's 4 plays out of that same offensive personnel grouping. There's that motion. Now they really go with a pass concept to the bottom of the screen. And I love this. They're taking that 6th offensive lineman and treating it as a swing screen out in front of the back as a check down and then the jet sweep. That's 6 different plays that they have out of that offensive, or the 6 offensive linemen and double tight end grouping. I love that out of Pittsburgh.
One of my favorite things every week. It's 6 offensive linemen, but it's really 7 because Darnell Washington, the tight end, and every week reliably the defense just completely forgets to cover him altogether.
Yeah.
And he got a big play in this one early in the game. But I'm telling you, every week, because he is such a dominant blocker and he is part of what Dan is describing, he is completely forgotten. The Steelers are going to keep doing that.
I love it. And you know what old guy quarterbacks really don't like is getting pressured. Aaron Rodgers, by the way, was not pressured in any of his 11 second-half dropbacks in Sunday's win over the Browns. Thinking about the Myles Garrett's on the other side, I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
It's part of that category. The 6 offensive
Good
line
game
stuff
plan.
helps them run them, but then they move them. So that's a big part of it. And then it's either quick game or DK one-on-one. And that's kind of the 3 groupings of their offensive line or their offensive scheme.
I love how excited we are to talk about these Steelers. All right, let's bring Graz back in for some more top stories. Graz, let's kick it off in Tennessee. What's going on there?
Well, they fired their head coach yesterday, Brian Callahan, after just 23 games. They elevated Mike McCoy, the former Chargers head coach, who's been an offensive assistant there in Tennessee the last couple of years. He'll be the interim head coach for the rest of the year, and then they'll get to work in the offseason on finding the full-time replacement who will be charged with shepherding Cam Ward through the early stages of his development. But Brian Callahan, who thought he was going to get that chance, will not. Speaking of young quarterbacks, J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota, the hope is to get him back on the practice field this week and in line to start coming off the bye. Problem is, we don't know if he's fully healthy yet. We don't know if Carson Wentz is fully healthy. He got banged up ahead of the bye. So what the Vikings are saying now is they have to see who's healthy and make a decision about who can play. If everyone's healthy, they still plan to go back to J.J. McCarthy. The Kansas City Chiefs are heating up and getting their best wide receiver back. Rashee Rice reinstated from his 6-game personal conduct policy suspension. He is not going to be eased back into action, from what I understand. They are excited to have him back. They feel like their offense can take it to another level with Rice back in the fold. I think he gets a full workload right away. He hasn't played in so long. He's champing at the bit. And if there is enough time left in the show to do the Buccaneers injury situations, we should do it. Emeka Egbuka, the stellar rookie wide receiver, injured his hamstring Sunday. He's having an MRI today to determine how long he'll have to miss. They're hopeful to get Mike Evans back from his hamstring injury this week. Chris Godwin, who is having his struggles coming back from last season's season-ending injury, will not.
And there's a drop or two, and so I think that connection has to figure out why it's not clicking the way many of us expected it to be.
Completely agree. I also wonder if Sean McVay needs to consider, I wouldn't say reinventing, that's a little strong, but fundamentally changing the nature of this offense in Nakua's absence. They have players on the roster who can, I won't say fill the Nacua role, but can do many of the things he does. Jordan Whittington is sort of that physical wide receiver who can block. Puka's almost like a half hybrid receiver tight end. But I don't think that means they're going to be putting their best players on the field if they go that route. And I wonder, Dan, if they should consider leaning more into 12 personnel. This has been primarily an 11 personnel team. In the second